going?
Kind of see me?
Yep, it's going.
I'll stick my leg out.
Yep, there you go.
There.
All right, so a little bit of background. I work in an engineered films division at ISI Building Products. So a little bit about what I do. In the engineered films division, we manufacture plastic sheeting, construction products, things like that. So what I'm going to be trying to persuade you of is that the building code should be switched to a higher level of performance, and the differences between some of the products and the benefits they can have. So the EPA and the Surgeon General's office estimates that 20,000 lung cancer deaths a year occur because of radon. And they also estimate that 1 in 3 homes in America has above the action level, as they call it, of radon in their homes. So I mean that's a lot of homes that have been built without a proper barrier. So to kind of put that in perspective, that's if a kid spends 8 hours a day in school, 180 days a year, at the action level amount, they would receive nearly 10 times as much radiation as a nuclear regulatory commission allows at the edge of a nuclear power plant. So like it's an extreme number. So during this presentation, I'm going to show a cheap and passive solution, such as a high-performance vapor barrier, which is basically a barrier between the ground and the concrete into your home, and how that's a cheap solution, and making it an industry standard could stop this in all future builds. So right now, a 6 mil poly is what is used. A 6 mil polyethylene sheeting. It's basically that clear plastic sheeting you find everywhere. They call it Visqueen poly. That's what's used below homes right now. So and that's made with about 90% recycled material, which causes it to break down over time, as opposed to it's biodegradable over time, which is because it's recycled. So what a high performance vapor barrier is it's thicker and it's made with 100% non-recycled material, which basically doesn't break down over time, and it has a much higher 3 characteristics of it is the puncture resistance. So while you're installing it, you're not going to have any holes in it, and it's got a much lower water vapor transmission rate, which is how much water, moisture, and gases it allows to pass through it. So that's kind of the difference between them. 6 mils used right now. We prefer a much higher level of vapor barrier. So the residential code and all the building codes, the energy codes are calling for that 6 mil as the standard, and that's the ASTM, which is American Society of Testing Materials. It's the D4397. We would like to get switched to the ASTM E1745, which is a vapor barrier standard, which is kind of the commercial standard, and we'd like the commercial standard to be input into the residential standard. So some of the effects that are currently happening in homes is mold, very common. Mold is very common, carbon monoxide, radon, toxic chemicals, and all these things are happening because there's not a proper barrier between the foundation of the home and what's in the ground. And a very cheap and passive solution is simply put a vapor barrier. It's done in almost every single commercial project right now, but in residential homes, they're throwing in this cheap little piece of plastic that gets torn, breaks down over time, and then these homes are having these issues. So I feel that there's a really cheap solution out there, and if we can just educate the market and get everyone on the same page with the building codes, American Concrete Institute, the energy code inspectors, and everybody to wrap their heads around this, it could really do some good. So some of the struggles have been educating the market, and I encourage you, if you do own a home and you don't have a radon system, to check the air quality of your home. Check for methane gas, check for carbon monoxide, and check for radon, because oftentimes I know from personal experience, I just bought a home and the radon levels in my home, it's about 2 years ago, were skyrockets above what they say is a good standard, and that can lead to lung cancer over the years. So, and all in all future builds, hopefully that they'll be using vapor barriers more often. And that's my presentation. And my computer shut off, so thank you. Hopefully it kept recording. Oh shit.
Oh no.
Oh, it did. It did.
Oh, good.